Schedule 1 to the less strictly regulated Schedule 3. President Trump has promised to expand Americans' access to medical treatment options. Critics say the order sends a confusing message about the dangers of marijuana. Greg Clugston, Washington.
On Wall Street, the Dow Jones Industrial Average down by 179 points. The Nasdaq dropped 219, with the S&P 500 lower by 29. More at townhall.com.
The following is a real-life story from Trinity Debt Management.
I had a lot of credit card debt, and it stressed me out. But what I thought was a solution turned out to be a problem. I kept hearing ads about debt settlement that seemed too good to be true. And actually, it was. When I called, they told me to stop paying my bills. That didn't sound right to me at all, so I hung up. Later, I found out that debt settlement is bad, real bad. Then I learned that there is a right way to pay off your credit cards. It's called a debt management program from the great team at Trinity. Trinity had a plan. In the end, I paid off my bills, I saved thousands, and I even improved my credit score.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976.
My name is Heather. Please forget debt settlement and remember Trinity Debt Management.
1-800-990-6976.
We may be on the verge of a golden age for nuclear power.
4 decades after the Chernobyl accident, nuclear power is seeing a global revival. About 400 reactors are operational in 31 countries, and about 70 more are under construction. Nuclear power accounts for about 10% of the world's electricity. The International Energy Agency's executive director says while Chernobyl and Japan's Fukushima disaster diminished the appetite for nuclear power, it was clear years ago that there would probably be a revival. Rich Thomason reporting.
Renowned American conductor and composer Michael Tilson Thomas has died at the age of 81. His spokesperson Connie Schumann says Tilson Thomas died Wednesday night. He led orchestras in Buffalo, Miami, London, and San Francisco. News and analysis at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Keith Peters reporting.
This program is brought to you in part by Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professionals.
Call 281-441-4179.
Weather Center, tonight will be cloudy with a low of 71. Tomorrow, expect intervals of clouds and sunshine with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas and a high of 86. Tomorrow night will be overcast, warm and humid with a low of 72. Moving on to Saturday, it'll be warm with temperatures nearing the record high of 90 last seen in 2006. Anticipate a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 88. With the KSCB Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
Chris X here to tell you about Humble Amco transmission and AC specialists. People who know go to Amco. I personally trust Jay Streckfus and Humble Amco with all of my vehicle's needs. With complete car care, they'll take care of all of your auto needs as well. Always a free check engine light inspection, and tell them that Chris X sent you for a free engine scan. Call Jay today at 281-446-0862. That's 281-446-0862. Or online at humbleamco.com.
Dan Patrick for my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts.
Spring is here and summer just around the corner, which means it's time to deep root fertilize your trees in addition to spraying for insects and disease. Let Ability Trees help maintain their value and repair all damage. Fed and pruned tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace should be done by experts. And the experts I use, it's very clear. It's Ability Tree Experts and Louis Flory, my friend for over 40 years. Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. You know, pruning is important for the health of your trees, and pruning limits resistance to spring storms and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs, so don't wait to protect your investment at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, Ability Trees is giving a deep root feeding with every tree pruned. Ability Trees, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's ChrisXradio. ChrisXradio.
What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire interlink.
And now, your host.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Chris X.
I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us on our Friday show. I know it's only Thursday, but we start the weekend off 24 hours ahead of everybody else because we do our Friday show on Thursday, which means we'll talk about whatever is on your mind today. Whatever you've got on your mind, whatever you guys want to talk about, we'll talk about it. Just keep it within the confines of the FCC requirements, and we're just fine. We'll do that. If you want to join us today, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Once again, I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us. We bring you that gift beyond price that is almost free, ladies and gentlemen. We bring you the spirit of talk radio. And, man, we got lots going on. It's not like I've got a glut of things to talk about, but nonetheless, we do open the lines to you guys today to talk about whatever's on your mind. And occasionally, you guys have something that we would normally cover here on the program, but we'll do it today. It's how we roll here on our Friday show on Thursday. This week just flew by. It's just another one of those weeks that just goes by. Next thing you know, it's
Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday.
is everybody getting down on Friday? Partying, yeah!
Fun, looking forward to
the weekend!
It's Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Friday, getting down on Friday. Everybody's looking forward to the weekend. Partying, yeah, fun, looking forward to the weekend.
So it's already the weekend here. Oh, man. All right, let's go Friday. All right, you know why we guys do our Friday show on Thursday? Because the Amigos will take over tomorrow from 4 to 6. That would be El Senador, Paul Betancourt, along with the Judge, and then a Strew with a View, batting cleanup. Oh, yeah, the Strew with a View jumps in, and he uses the whammer. I don't know. I'm not sure what size bat he uses. It may be close to the same size that Babe Ruth was using. I'm just trying to make sure it's actually Thursday. It is actually Thursday, right? Maybe I'm jumping off too early. No, the weekend is upon us, folks. It is time to rock and roll. We may have some fun today. May play some Alex Jones and Goblin songs. I don't know. You got to watch out for those goblin demons. I'm utterly amazed that anyone takes Alex Jones seriously, but the people do. They really do. A guy who literally said in court when fighting for custody for his kids that the crazy stuff he talks about on his show, his show is performance art. So he can say crazy stuff, and he does. And then the fact that he got sued by the families of the families of the children that got killed in mass shooting, and he lost, what was it? He lost $1.5 billion. Well, he wasn't a billionaire, but it was just a crazy settlement because of the things that he said. He was calling it false flag? That's a big term or whatever. Anyway, but we tend to I enjoy Alex Jones for very different reasons. than some people enjoy. I mean, then again, you got to watch out for the gay frogs because the frogs are gay and they'll come get you. Anyway, there actually is a lot going on, some actual news. We'll talk about that as well as taking your phone calls at 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Trump orders the Navy to shoot small boats dropping mines in the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump apparently instructed the U.S. Navy to shoot small boats dropping mines in the Strait of Hormuz. He made the announcement, of course, on True Social. I have ordered the United States Navy to shoot and kill any boat, small boats though they may be. Their naval ships are all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea. I didn't know they had 159 ships. Wow. That is putting mines in the waters of the Strait of Hormuz. There is to be no hesitation. Additionally, our minesweepers are clearing the strait right now. I am hereby ordering that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level. Thank you for your attention to this matter. This comes, of course, just days after he announced the extension of the ceasefire with Iran on Tuesday. This was after J.D. Vance and the team was planned to go to Islamabad for peace talks, or Islamabad, I think you probably pronounce it. The original 2-week ceasefire with the deadline approaching. My question is, we talked about the ships that were taken in with these little boats that Iran still has, the IRGC still has access to, that went and accosted. Was Trump listening to my show yesterday? Do you guys remember for those who were listening yesterday, you guys remember what we talked about? Why would Iran be given any access to the Strait of Hormuz whatsoever, even with little small boats to go and attack boats going through? So Trump we're getting very close to dropping more bombs on Iran, okay? It's going to happen, I'm pretty sure. Iran, once again, in the past, other presidents and other administrations have dealt with Iran in a very different way. They threaten and threaten and threaten and then don't really do anything, and will maybe send some bombs, but then threaten and threaten and threaten, and will try to take out their nuclear program, and then threaten and threaten and threaten. And Donald Trump is a different kind of animal. So they went through and basically leveled most of the military of Iran. And then now I saw earlier, what was it? That Iran was, of course, they released a video of the IRGC people seizing the ships in the strait. I'm assuming that's not going to be happening anymore as well. I'm just, once again, just going out on a limb here. I mean, I could be wrong. But Iran says that the opening of the Strait of Hormuz is impossible, as they claim to reject the talks. Parliament Speaker alleges that blatant violation of the ceasefire. Yeah, they're the ones that are sort of shooting at ships and doing things. It's kind of interesting watching Iran as they were getting bombed. Of course, they were shooting at us, but also just dropping bombs on their neighbors. Hey, neighbor, sorry. Listen, I know you didn't do anything and you guys didn't have anything to do with this, but we're just going to drop bombs on you because we're terrorist a-holes. We're just going to do that. Sorry. You guys don't mind, do you? You're our Muslim brothers, man. We're good. We just got to drop bombs on you. Sorry. But anyway, so needless to say, it looks like things aren't necessarily ratcheting down between Iran and the U.S. The conflict. The good thing is, even though the oil rates haven't skyrocketed or anything, it seems to be holding pat, because now the rest of the world is starting to realize, okay, listen, we probably shouldn't count on this area anymore. And they're doing things differently, coming to the U.S., taking oil from Texas and Louisiana, and some other places. Where we're refining it, we can do all kinds of stuff here. We've become pretty much self-reliant upon our own oil, which is, between fracking, our own oil and gas and things, it is foolish for us not to. Only an idiot Democrat would think that it is better for us to get oil from terrorist rogue nations who take that money and then fund terrorist operations against us. Only a Democrat would think that's a good idea. Like, only a Democrat thinks it's a good idea to open your borders to criminals and murderers and rapists and robbers and things from all over the world, and think those people should be treated differently than American citizens, and welcome them to our country with open arms, and then to count them in representation so they get more representation in our government. Huh? And they do that, and then fight and call our own border agents, our own ICE agents, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, call them terrorists. Only Democrats could do that, right? Yeah. That makes you wonder, who are they fighting for? Who are Democrats willing to fight for? Who are their enemies? It's not terrorists. It's not illegal aliens coming into our country and committing crimes. I've never seen an entire party do what it's doing. Every one of them in the Democrat Party that has gone through and called ICE agents terrorists and is attacking a federal agency should be brought up on charges of insurrection. They talked about the greatest insurrection that ever happened on January 6th. Maybe these people who are actively going against the United States of America, that's what they're doing. People like Tim Walz, Jacob Fry, Chuck Schumer, all of these dirtbags. I mean, there's some dirtbag Republicans too, but at least they haven't gone to that point, have they? The only Republicans I can think about that have gone that way were people like Adam Kinzinger, maybe, and then Marjorie Taylor Brown. She's gone full circle, man. Actually, no, she's just done a 180. Hasn't gone for full circle. No, just a 180. It's bizarre. This is a bizarre world we live in when it comes to politics, and then, of course, where people, I guess, get their money or where they're getting paid or whatever. It's utter insanity. Okay, also today, the Senate has adopted a budget resolution earlier this morning after a 6-hour voting session allowing Republicans to use a partisan reconciliation bill to fund ICE and the Border Patrol. It passed 50-48, passing the budget with Senators Lisa Murkowski and Rand Paul voting against the measure. Senators Chuck Grassley and Mark Warner did not vote, citing personal reasons. I guess they had things going on. They're too busy to do their job. Their vacation wasn't long enough. We need more vacation. A Virginia judge has issued a ruling, we talked about this yesterday, blocking Virginia from moving forward with certifying the results of the special election regarding redistricting, the referendum that could possibly allow Democrats to gain 4 congressional seats. In the ruling from the Tazewell Circuit Court Judge Jack Hurtley, issued on Wednesday, the judge explained that the process underlying the referendum broke several state laws and certifying the vote would harm, quote, Republican lawmakers in the state. This is reported by WTVR News. We can get into that as well. And the Houston City Council, even though they approved a revised immigration policy on Wednesday, Governor Abbott says the city is still at risk for losing more than $100 million in safety funding because it has to be approved by HPD. He says, Governor Abbott went on to say, hey, as of now, it's okay. It's good for us. You know, we're good with this, but it needs to be, of course, compliant with what HPD wants. I haven't heard if that was earlier today. I haven't heard any update on that. But as of this very moment, it wasn't in compliant. And he said these extra law enforcement funds are no longer flowing, Governor Abbott. Governor Abbott said. It's like, nope, sorry. Nope. You're not going to get that money until you get it approved. So we'll see. I don't think, I mean, it could be wrong, but honestly, I don't think that that's going to be a big issue. I think they'll come to a conclusion pretty quick. And then they can get back going with what's happening regarding this $100+ million the city of Houston was going to get or got, and then now has to pay back unless they get this straightened out. Now you understand why Governor Abbott, well, one, he said what he said, but two, you've got Mayor Whitmire, who immediately did a 180 and said, no, we need this money. And we do. Houston is a very dangerous city now. It is not the city I was born and grew up in. The moment, Alex said, it was always there's, you got a big city, you're going to have some violence and some stuff. But the moment Democrats took over, the moment everything became exponentially worse. I was reading art, like I said, I literally could go on the program every day and talk about people being shot in their cars and murdered, people being shot and killed, road rage incidences, you name it. Officer-involved shootings, it's almost every day now. That is what the Democrats have brought to Houston, the city of Houston, or Harris County. I remember when I was a kid, I was so proud because I lived on the corner, basically the upper part of Harris County. And there were parts just north of us that were Montgomery County, and that was like, okay, Montgomery County, not as cool. Harris County was the cool county. This is the good one. We're in Harris County. For the longest time, my entire youth. But then Democrats started making inroads, and that has changed. I always say, what's funny is, I got a brother who's a contractor. He's like, man, you got to build a house over here by him. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't build a house in Harris County. Thank God for people that will. Thank God for people that are willing to do business. But are you kidding me? I'm not going to build a house. I wouldn't buy another house in Harris County. I bought the house that I'm living in now right as the Lena Hidalgo reign started. Do I want to stay in this county? No, not at all. I eventually want to get out. Head either north or south. Apparently Fort Bend's not the way to go. So anyway, all right, well, we're just getting started. It is our Friday show on Thursday, which means we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. 281-558. KSEV is the number, 281-558-5738. We'll take a short break. We'll come back. We can get to your calls. Once again, open lines, basically, whatever you guys want to talk about today. If you don't call, I don't know, I may play Trump eating the dogs, eating the cats. You guys remember that? Remember that when that was a big thing? Oh my God, Trump is saying they're eating dogs and cats. Turned out they actually were. A woman literally that week was arrested for eating her neighbor's cat. It's not happening! Just like voter fraud is not happening. Just like the insurrection really did happen. It was an insurrection. It's like everything they say is opposite day. All right, 281-558-KSV. I'm Chris X. We're just getting rolling on your Friday show on Thursday.
ChrisXradio. Hello, friends. Let's be honest. Every business says they're better, but the ones that earn the prestigious BBB seal back it up. That's why it's the sign of a better business. And it instantly identifies reputable businesses you can trust. So look for the BBB seal because it's looking out for you. It's the sign of a better business. And find a better business anytime at bbb.org. That's bbb.org.
Shopping insurance? Contact Joe Wardell. He's an independent agent, and he can look at what you have, shop and see. His number, 281-944-9025. Joe Wardell, 281-944-9025.
You know, where we go in life matters, and what we do matters, and we know that taking the wrong road won't produce the best outcomes. Hi, I'm Kathy with Baker Mortgage, and we want you to take the right path when it comes to your mortgage. You know, we live in a world of information overload, but always consider the source, and these are not generally going to be from your big bank or a random offer that comes across your screen. Remember, you're always going to get a better deal on one that you go looking for than one that comes looking for you. You need to deal with somebody who gives a you-know-what, whether or not you're happy in the end. At Baker Mortgage, we do it right. We haven't been around for 68 years because we're lucky. We don't sell CDs, insurance, or anything else. We just provide a great mortgage experience. Isn't that what you're looking for? Call us at Baker Mortgage. I promise you'll be glad you did. We're at 281-313-MOVE or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
Hi, this is Michael Miller. Join me this weekend for the Backyard Bay radio program presented by Miller Pools and Texan Pools, now at our new time every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. And what we do here on the Backyard Bay radio program is talk about your backyard. And this time of year, wow, it's so hard not to just spend all your time out in the Backyard Bay. And I know sometimes you have questions. That's why we do the Backyard Bay radio program, to get you good, solid answers to any kind of questions that you may have concerning your swimming pools, or I'm looking to build a new swimming pool.
Just have a backyard party.
Join me this weekend for the Backyard Bay radio program, now at our new time every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. right here on The Voice.
Hi, this is Paul Betancourt. Property values may have peaked, making 2026 a must-year to protest your property taxes. Sign up with my excellent Betancourt tax advisor team at btanow.com, as our experienced senior property tax agents and customer service matter. The Taxman says do it now.
Sign up with Betancourt Tax Advisors by going online to btanow.com or by calling Paul's professional property team at 713-263-6100.
The voice of Texas, the voice of reason. ChrisXradio.
The world was a different place when this song came out. You know, it's funny, I think back to this or John Denver with Rocky Mountain High. Well, that song took a different context later. Much later after John Denver. Anybody remember what happened to John Denver? He had a private plane, then he ran out of gas and he crashed. I think it was in the ocean and died. I think that was what happened. Oh, by the way, welcome back to Chris X Radio. I forgot to remind everybody, hey, we are streaming our program now, video streaming on social media. We now stream many of our KSEV shows now are streamed on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, and then now even on Twitter. My show is live on Twitter right now as we speak. It's live on Twitter. I just pulled it up and looked. Yep, I'm on there. Good thing I remembered this a half an hour into the show. So there we go. We're live everywhere. We'll see. I'm pretty ratcheted down on all the social medias, so we'll see if we can get through that on Twitter with KSEV. But it's on the KSEV radio. If you go on Twitter, you can follow me at ChrisXradio, all one word. Or you can follow KSEV Radio. If you do that, you can watch the show live. I guess, hold on, let me go look here. Can I retweet it? I guess I could. How do I, let's see, no, I don't want to do that. Probably shouldn't do this while I'm on the air. It's probably not a good idea. Anyway, all right, welcome back to the program. Once again, you're listening to Chris X Radio. It is our Friday show on Thursday, which means we tend to try to have a little fun. We'll talk about whatever is on your mind. If you guys want to talk about Trump talking about bombing the boats in Iran, the little tiny boats, because all the big boats are all at the bottom of the ocean, 179. Iran had that many. Boy, I wonder what they're doing with all that oil. Dirty, stinky oil money.
I'm almost too mad to do the show at this point.
Alex Jones,
I just need to walk out of here. I can't do it. This is not some theatrics I'm doing. I've reached the point so pissed off at everything that I can't do the show anymore. I got another rebroadcast for a while. Let me play a couple things. We'll see if I'm able to come back. Probably not. We're going to get wiped out. People aren't serious. They're all in the trench. It's all over. Seriously, screw everybody, man. If you want to let them murder you and your family, just go ahead. I mean, they're having press conferences. They're going to read all your text messages. I mean, screw them. They should all be arrested now.
I'm not emotional.
Is there nothing we won't put up with? Seriously. It's obscene to come into the show with Johnny B. Good playing like we're still in a free country and having a good time. And I'm not mad at the crew. I put that music in there. But that's all over. All this crap's over. Everybody got that? We got serious murderers killing everybody around us. They think it's funny. I think we're in a damn trance, gonna put up with it forever. Now look at that Raggedy Ann, frickin' Fauci up there, that Crypt Keeper Biden, the Chi-Com stumbling around, bunch of murderers. Okay.
Well, he calmed down at the end. That was good. Alex Jones is so entertaining for all the wrong reasons. And you know what's funny? What triggered all those songs? It was the early one. You got, the friggin' frogs are gay. You guys remember that one? That's one of my favorites.
In the water that turn the friggin'
Oh, there we go.
Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
I didn't make this one. This is just one I found.
Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny.
It's kind of fun.
I'm going to say it real slow for you. Gay frogs.
Do you think Alex Jones is eating frog legs in his time? I think he got on like testosterone and kind of bulked up, slimmed down a little. He's ready for the war. Frogs don't quack. Well, maybe gay frogs do. It's kind of fun.
I'm going to say it real slow for you.
Oh, man. I enjoy me some Alex Jones for all the wrong reasons. And then there was this. You guys remember this? This came out just a little while back. Trump mentioned eating the dogs and cats, and then this happened.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
It actually happened.
This is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
The guy who did this was some socialist, and he took it down because people liked it for the wrong reasons. That is a guy who doesn't understand capitalism.
They're eating the dogs.
They're eating the dogs. Eating the dogs, eating the cats.
They're eating the dogs.
It's like a dance-off Friday.
And this is what's happening.
Dogs, dogs, dogs.
People on television.
The guy did a great job on this song.
There have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed,
Except there
injured,
was.
or abused by individuals.
Sorry, David Muir.
Well, I've seen people on television.
A woman was arrested.
People on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
But the
television.
people on
I'm taking it from
television
the
say
city
the
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
It was actually a cat.
Again, Springfield City
At least
manager says
one.
there's no evidence of that.
They're eating the dogs.
Yeah, this still reminds me. There's no fraud in Minnesota, okay? No fraud. Eating the dogs. Like I said, the guy did actually a great job on the song, which is just hilarious to me. And then they said, because people actually liked it, and they liked it, like, yeah, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, they're eating dogs and cats. And so then he took it down. And then some other dude did one, and it focused more on eating the cats on the other one, but I don't have that one. That was the one I grabbed. So, okay, tell you what, we're over time already. Let's take a break. You're listening to Chris X Radio. It is our Friday show on Thursday, which means we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. If you want to join us, 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Needless to say, we may be having a little fun here on today's program. I haven't done this in a while. And I got so many great songs I could be playing, you know? There's always the good ones. Eating the dogs. And what's funny is at a certain point, Alex Jones talked about eating his neighbors. Maybe I'll play that when we come back. 281-558-5738. I'm Chris X. We're just getting rolling. Don't you go anywhere.
You're listening to Chris X Radio, AM 700, KSEV.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate and O'Hara Homes. I'm going to pose some questions that you might want to research. Why was JFK assassinated? Did we really land on the moon? Is the Earth really a globe? And is it the size they tell us it is? Did 9/11 happen the way we were told? Are pharmaceutical companies really there to cure diseases? Who are doctors trained by? Did God create everything on earth that we need to stay healthy? Is fluoride in our water really helping us? What are those long trails of clouds left by airplanes, and what's in them? Did all the astronauts die in the Space Shuttle Challenger explosion? And is Elvis really dead? I search answers for everything. And if you're searching for a real estate company, give O'Hara Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393. Again, that's 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. I have a special guest with me, my granddaughter, Bailey.
God bless America, God bless Texas, and God bless my pop.
Hi, I'm Tommy Mello with Garage Door Doctors. My mom recently moved into a new home with a builder-grade garage door. Noisy, flimsy, and not built to last, so we're fixing that. Mom, you're my hero. When I was growing up, she worked 3 jobs just to save our house.
And helped you build this company.
Now I'm giving her a beautiful new garage door that's built to last. The garage is 40% of your home's curb appeal. When it looks good and it works great.
Life is good. Thanks, Tommy.
From repairs to upgrades, call Garage Door Doctor today.
Tune in each Sunday morning at 9 a.m. for On the Money with your host and CEO of Allied Wealth Texas, Ryan Wheelis, who can help you live your richest life possible during your retirement years. That's each Sunday at 9 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV.
If you're looking to buy or sell a home and in need of the best realtors out there, look no further than the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. They've instilled in each and every member of their team hard work and honest values, and believe me, it's paid off. They truly know the Houston market and what it takes to get a home sold quickly and at top dollar, and how to get the best deal possible for your home purchase. They're employee-owned. They care about their clients, so they always go the extra mile to ensure each sale and purchase is seamless and smooth. The Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group have been a top producing real estate team for over 2 decades. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or see for yourself and go online at thematthewsteam.com. That's thematthewsteam.com. They sell over 1,000 homes a year, and they know every inch of the buying and selling market in Houston. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. I chose them as my realtor. The Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, your realtors for life. 281-440-7900 or see for yourself online at thematthewsteam.com. That's thematthewsteam.com.
That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, brokered by EXP.
Chris X Radio.
This song sounds like somebody is coming in on a horse with a sword. By the way, I think I mentioned that I'd been watching some of the later Walking Dead episodes that I didn't watch. I tuned out after about the 3rd or 4th season, and then I realized it went from The Walking Dead to The Woking Dead. It became very woke. I did not realize that in the apocalypse, little children would become badasses and be able to fight these zombies. The Walking Dead is good, if not better, than the adults, which was ridiculous. There was that. Everybody was in an interracial relationship in the future. Rick and Negan and all of the people, even Eugene, I told you, they made him a main character, which was clearly sort of the decline of the series, you could see. And then they brought in stormtroopers, which apparently were in the comics, which is what it was based on. But everybody, every single one, all of them it was all interracial. There were no same-sex, I'm sorry, and then they added a same-sex couple. Sorry, there was all mixed race. I mean, not that I care. I mean, like I said, not as a big deal, but it was just funny. It's just, I mean, with a character or two, or one that maybe reflects society a little bit, maybe. But once again, this is in the apocalypse. And the apocalypse got very, very woke. And I guess they ran out of ideas, too, so they had to woke it up. And then it was Negan, who was a really, really bad guy. Then he became a good guy. It was kind of stupid. So I guess I finally saw the final episode. And then Rick's daughter, Judith, which Rick thought it wasn't his, thought it was his pal, Shane, who he killed because Shane became was a bad guy, and then he was, I guess, a zombie, and he had to kill him or whatever. I realized immediately why I quit watching. But it was funny because I was joking with Rich Rosso. He wrote a couple episodes back in during the Woodbury days with the governor. That was actually cool back then. And then the first couple of seasons, it was I guess originally done by Frank Darabont, who's great. He did like The Mist, which was a Stephen King book, and that was a great movie. He did an excellent job, and he did really good on the first, like I said, the first couple of episodes or the first couple of seasons were actually really good. You never knew when a character was going to get killed off. I mean, main characters would get killed off at any moment, so it was actually sort of groundbreaking at the time. That changed pretty quickly. Anyway, welcome back to the program. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us on a Friday show on Thursday, which means we'll talk about whatever is on your mind. I guess if nothing's on your mind, I can continue to play Alex Jones songs. I mentioned the other one. We played the eating the dogs and eating the cats, and then Alex Jones talks about eating his neighbors. Maybe I'll play that one here in a minute. I did see something that I haven't really mentioned lately. By the way, glad to have you here with us. If you want to join us on our Friday show on Thursday, we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Apparently, Ilhan Omar owns a fake winery, and she just all of a sudden dissolved it after she got caught. You know, she originally estimated her assets between $6 and $30 million in her 2025 financial disclosure due to this winery that she just filed an amendment slashing it down to just $95,000 and blamed an accounting error. Huh? I guess she went to the Somali school for accounting, not accounting, accounting. You know, like the Leering Center. I guess maybe she attended there. She clearly committed fraud against the federal government with her financial disclosure. Is she going to get kicked out of Congress? Is anyone ever going to do anything to her? You guys remember George Santos? He was a gay Republican. He got caught doing some very minor things and got kicked out. Are the Republicans going to step up and get rid of Ilhan Omar? The DOJ is now looking into her. I mean, how do you make an accounting mistake and somehow your assets jump between $6 million and $30 million, and now you say, no, I'm sorry, we're only worth like $30,000, $40,000. What? She literally could not represent the fraudulent Somalis any better in Congress because she's one of them. Not a peep. What's Hakeem Jeffrey saying? So I guess her net worth went from $30 million to under $100,000, and she dissolved her fake winery. So now it's gone. It was still there until she got caught. And then when people ask her questions, she just gets indignant, becomes a total jerk, doesn't want to talk to reporters, doesn't like anyone asking questions. These people don't represent us anymore. All they represent are themselves, and they do it fraudulently. And they just want to go through, and they never get enough tax dollars to ever stop stealing, I guess. Anyway, it's kind of insane. I didn't even have that lined up to talk about. I just saw it was trending, and then I knew the story. I knew at some point I'd cover it. So there you go. I don't know. I guess if they eventually steal all the money, we'll have to go like Alex Jones and maybe eat the neighbors. I mean, that's what he said. He has to.
I will eat my neighbors. I'm not letting my kids die. I'm just going to be honest. My superpower is being honest. I've extrapolated this out, and I won't have to for a few years because I got food and stuff. But I'm literally looking at my neighbors now and going, I'm ready to hang them up, gut them and skin them and chop them up. You know what? I'm ready. My daughters aren't starving to death. I'll eat my neighbors. My superpower is being honest. I'll eat your ass. I will. I'm combat model, optimum self-sufficiency, probably the leader.
Probably.
The point is have you thought about that yet? Because I'm somebody that thought I could fix this, and I'm starting to think about having to eat my neighbors. You think I like sizing up my neighbor? How I'm going to haul him up by a chain and chop his ass up? I'll do it.
He went full
My
Walking
children aren't
Dead.
going hungry. I will eat your ass. That's why I want the globalists to know. I will eat your ass first.
Now, is he going to eat the entire neighbor or just certain parts of the neighbor? That's what's unclear, not only in the audio from the show, but also the song we put together. I mean, he isn't specific. I mean, I guess he, so he's going to eat his neighbors. Trump says they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. And then now you've got Alex Jones. I don't think he ever ate his neighbors, actually. I don't think he did. I think he didn't end up eating his neighbors, but he was ready. He was ready to go full Walking Dead. Because I think that was the thing in The Walking Dead. At a certain point, there was cannibals they were dealing with, and it was funny, too, because there's you just start noticing the flaws within the series. Once again, we're talking about a series for zombies. You can't take it that seriously. But then, once again, how they just became The Woking Dead. I came up with that, by the way. The Woking Dead. Because it's pretty woke. And then is it still going on? I think the main one ended, but then there's still like 4 or 5 other branch spinoffs from it. I don't know. I can guarantee you this, I won't be watching them. Because just watching and catching up, I would rather watch is something that I've started doing. I've told you guys this before. I started watching like the K-dramas. Or they're kind of K-dramedies, they're drama comedies or whatever. I started watching those, and the reason I started watching them is, 1, they're not woke. 2, I don't know who the actors are. I don't know any of them. I don't know the people. They're more wholesome, kind of like how America used to be. So I guess it's a little more conservative, if you will, but it's not political at all. And some of them are just ridiculous. And then I started watching some of those, and some of them are really entertaining, and they're really good. So I started watching those because when I watch those, my intelligence isn't insulted every 5 minutes. I don't have to worry about getting just bombarded with wokeness constantly. And what's funny is I've noticed they're all from a few years ago, too. I guess there's like the series or the movies or whatever. Most of them because I watch them on the free, the Roku app or Pluto or whatever, the Samsung deal. I got a Samsung TV or whatever. So it's on one of those. So I'll watch those because I'm not entirely offended by them. Otherwise, you got to watch old American TV. I have no interest in watching anything that is on ABC, NBC, CBS, or any of the modern channels. All of their sitcoms that used to be sitcoms are all trash. I saw them, they did a reboot of Malcolm in the Middle, which was a show that I didn't watch before, so I don't have anything to gauge it by, but I heard, they're getting just grilled for the wokening of it. But everything they do is, 1, it's either a remake, or 2, it's some woke, terrible thing. And now there's you got to have all the races have to be represented. You got to have a gay or a trans character on every single episode with every single one, and just all the straight white males are all the joke characters. They're there to be dumb and they're for comedic relief. That's it. It's terrible. It represents exactly what Hollywood wants, and it's anything but funny. They're not funny anymore. Kind of like the late night talk shows. I used to watch them. I used to love Conan O'Brien. I loved Jay Leno. I don't like Jay Leno. I loved Johnny Carson. I loved David Letterman when he was on, but then turns out David Letterman was a predator douchebag behind the scenes. We learned what he was doing, and now he's going to tell us, how terrible Trump is. Really? Jimmy Kimmel? That guy? He was on The Man Show. He did that. He did all these things. He was in blackface multiple times, and then comes out and just, he did it. Hey, he can get away with it, but not you. You have to abide by the new rules that are arbitrary, that can change at any moment, and we're the arbiters of what is. You wonder why I started watching K-dramas? That's why. Not just the K-dramas, whatever. Some of their movies are interesting. I've noticed that the Japanese horror movies are very hard. They don't follow the same rules that Hollywood follows. I'll just say that. And sometimes they're pretty horrifying. And there's some, like I said, some of them are really good. And then the dramas are good. And I don't watch that many. I've only watched a handful of them. But anyway, let's take a break. We'll come back. We got Dr. Chris out in Cyprus. Dr. Chris, hold on. We'll get to you here on the other side of the break. It is our Friday show on Thursday. So that means we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. We got one segment remaining here in the first hour, and then we're already up on hour number 2. Man, can't believe we're already up on hour number 2. Time flies when you're having fun. All right, 281-558-KSEV. I'm Chris X. We'll be right back.
The revolution continues after this. Chris X Radio. Chris X Radio.
Hey y'all, Craig Collins here. Please check out my brand new show from 6 to 7 o'clock Monday through Friday right here on The Voice of Texas. And also, please check out our relatively new social media pages. That's at KSEV Radio on YouTube and Rumble. We are live streaming more and more of our content there every day. And finally, check out my social media pages at Radio Craig C on X and Facebook. That's The Craig Collins Show, Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 o'clock and wherever you get your podcasts on KSEV KGBC, The Voice of Texas.
Does your company need to be compliant with U.S. Coast Guard 2022-0802? Do you require an independent third-party vendor for penetration testing? If you do, call Tactical Cyber Services at 713-229-0030 or go online to tacticalcyberservices.com. We can work with your internal IT group or your security vendor like Whit O'Brien to make sure your documentation is compliant. Call 713-229-0030 today.
From the KSEV Weather Center, tonight will be cloudy with a low of 71. Tomorrow, expect intervals of clouds and sunshine with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas and a high of 86. Tomorrow night will be overcast, warm and humid with a low of 72. Moving on to Saturday, it'll be warm with temperatures nearing the record high of 90 last seen in 2006. Anticipate a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 88. With the KSEV Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
This month, Specs is celebrating 64 years of cheers with our anniversary sale. Shop the lowest prices on wines, whiskeys, seltzers, snacks, and more. Because it wouldn't be Specs' birthday without big savings. Shop Specs! Since 1962, we've been raising spirits and lowering prices. Fun is our bread and butter, or should we say, our gin and tonic. Specs, wine, spirits, and finer foods. The fun starts here.
Dan Patrick for my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts.
Spring is here and summer just around the corner, which means it's time to deep root fertilize your trees in addition to spraying for insects and disease. Let Ability Trees help maintain their value and repair all damage. Fed and prune tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace should be done by experts. And the experts I use, it's very clear. It's Ability Tree Experts and Louis Flory.
My friend for over 40 years.
Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. You know, pruning is important for the health of your trees. And pruning limits resistance to spring storms and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs. So don't wait to protect your investment at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, Ability Trees is giving a deep root feeding with every tree prune. Ability Trees, Houston's leading tree care professional.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Chris X Radio.
Center for kids who can't read good. It's like straight out of a Zoolander script. Anyway, welcome back to Chris X Radio. You reached the final segment of the first hour. Don't go anywhere. We got hour number 2 coming right back at you here on our Friday show on Thursday. Whatever's on your mind, well, that's what we'll talk about. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Let's go right to the phones. We've got Dr. Chris, who's been patiently holding. Dr. Chris, thank you for hanging on. Welcome to Chris X Radio.
Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm doing okay today. How are you doing today, Dr. Chris?
Yeah, you know what? You kind of stole my thunder because I was a fan of the original Malcolm in the Middle. And the reboot, it was like 4 episodes. It was like a reunion miniseries, and it was total trash. I don't like Bryan Cranston, who played the dad, because he hates Trump and he hates America. Just listen to him. And it was sad, and I don't think that they're going to get any more. Most people were clamoring for more based on what they saw out of the first 4 episodes, that they would have been good. But they're not going to get any more. And what disappoints me more than anything is the guy that was Adam Kendall in The Little House on the Prairie, that played Mary's husband, they were both blind, that he got his sight back, is the guy that created the show.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You know it or not. Yeah, he did. And he created the show and produced it and directed some episodes based on him being raised with his dysfunctional mom and dad, and his brothers, and all the trouble that they got in. But at the end of the day, they were family. And when you saw the original series, you kind of saw that. You kind of saw that in intertwined in every story that they did. But the 7th season that ended the show was awful to begin with. And then when you come back with all the trite dribble and trash that was the reunion, I was sorely disappointed. And I said, and for reasons I won't go back and state again, the guy who plays the father, I can't stand him, and I won't watch any more. I just wanted to see what they would do with the reboot, and it was awful. Now, to get to my point where I called, what the hell's happening in Virginia? Okay, they said they redistricted, and then the judge overturned what's happening, because the state is being run by the reincarnate of Carrie White's mother. By the way, it's the 50th anniversary of the horror movie Carrie, directed by Brian De Palma, which was great. But her mother's running the state of Virginia now. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. I just knew it was Abigail Spanberger, who's terrible. So
no, that's her mom.
Wait, hold on. Carrie's mom in the movie is actually the person that is running the state of Virginia? Okay.
I'm being facetious, Chris. Come on.
Okay. I thought you were being serious. I was like, wait a minute, I missed something here.
Did you see the movie?
I did, but it's been a long time since I've watched Carrie. So, yeah, I saw that.
You know what?
Hold on, Dr. Chris. Hold on.
Amazon Prime.
I saw. Okay, I'll have to watch it again. Listen, I saw Carrie at the drive-in theater in Humble, Texas in like 1970, whatever it came out in. That's how long ago I saw that movie.
So if you go back and you watch the movie, you'll get the hilarity of my point, because the governor of Virginia is a complete nut job. And if they overturn that whole redistricting thing, I would love it, because it would smash Hakeem, the unhonorable Hakeem Jeffries, right in the mouth, because he's threatening Florida. Oh, this is this guy. Oh, yeah, Florida redistrict is just like they'll lose, just like they did in Virginia, and we'll have another victory. What victory? You aren't even for America, guy.
Dr. Chris, hold on for me. Listen,
everything that it stands for.
Hold on for me. We're at the end of the hour, so we got to take a hard break. If you want to hang on, we'll talk more at the top of the next hour, and I'll make sure to get to you early. All right, hour number 2 is up next. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Voice of Texas, AM 700 KSEV Tomball.
News this hour from Town Hall. I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Wildfires in the southeast are burning thousands of acres and forcing residents to flee.
Wildfires are tearing through areas of Florida and Georgia, sending smoke that's blanketing cities hundreds of miles away. Governor Brian Kemp declared a state of emergency for 91 counties in South Georgia, where the 2 largest fires have destroyed more than 50 homes and forced hundreds of residents to evacuate. Denise Stevens was grabbing a free meal at the Twin Rivers Baptist Church in Hortense, Georgia.
I don't know if I still have a house standing or not.
Pastor Rusty Bryan says they're doing what they can to help.
We had somebody say, hey, let's do something, and we just started cooking.
Officials Officials say the wildfires are being fueled by strong winds, drought conditions, and fallen debris still on the ground from Hurricane Helene in 2024.
Correspondent Jennifer King reporting. Wednesday night's debate between California's 6 leading candidates for governor got heated.
The debate, live streamed on The Hill, brought together the 6 leading candidates for California governor. The 2 Republicans, conservative commentator Steve Hilton and Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco.
Well, we're never going to know if our elections are secure because when law enforcement does legitimate investigations into the allegations, it's stopped by our current Democrat one-party rule in California.
The 4 Democrats, billionaire Tom Steyer, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan, Javier Becerra, the Biden administration's Health and Human Services Secretary, and U.S. Representative Katie Porter.
What I would do differently than Governor Newsom is fund homelessness prevention.
I'm Donna Border.
President Trump says Israel and Lebanon have agreed to extend a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah by 3 weeks after talks at the White House on Thursday. Trump said the meetings between Israel and Lebanon's ambassadors to the U.S. went very well. On Wall Street, the Dow down by 179 points. More at townhall.com.
If you're hearing my voice, chances are you're either worried about a parent living alone or you are that parent. And you know your family worries about you too. Either way, there's a company that finally got senior safety right. Connected Caregiver. Connected Caregiver is everything you knew about alert devices, fall detection, emergency button, GPS, reimagined for today. There's a small wearable that alerts your family's phone the moment something happens. Inside your home, discrete sensors, no cameras, no microphones, just motion sensors have you covered even when you're not wearing it. No movement for hours, your loved ones will know. For the kids, you go from hoping everything's okay to knowing it is. And for you, you stay in your home on your terms while giving your precious family the peace of mind they've been asking for. That's not losing independence, that's keeping it. Visit ccgoffer.com to see if you qualify for a free device. It takes 2 minutes. That's ccgoffer.com, ccgoffer.com. Do it today.
Tune in to the Ray Massey Reverse Mortgage Show each Friday at 1 p.m. and Saturdays at 3 p.m. with Treybo Mortgage. Or call Ray directly at 855-266-1600 or online at reversemortgages4texans.com.
This True Sand commentary is brought to you by Ability Tree Experts. Ability Tree Experts, Houston's leading tree care professionals. Call 281-441-4179.
From KSEV, here's political contributor Ben Strusand.
Military planners always assumed that if a war with Iran began, the Iranians would attempt to take the Persian Gulf hostage and close the Straits of Hormuz. What nobody expected was that the Iranians would be allowed to export while America's allies, the Saudis, Kuwaitis, the UAE, and occasionally Qatar, would be blocked. A sort of mutually assured destruction was expected to provide enough leverage on Iran to keep the straits open. Yet, for a brief period, they were allowed to export their own crude and charge a ransom to anyone else wanting to do the same. That is, until the U.S. Navy stepped in with a blockade of its own on all Iranian exports, including crude oil. In just a few weeks, Iranian storage will max out, leaving Iranian oil producers with no other choices but to shut in oil wells permanently, damaging their ability to fund their economy, pay their military, and bankroll their terrorist proxies. The cutoff would be close to 100%, a huge blow if continued. Which is why, even though Democrats in Congress attempted to hand the Iranians a victory by pulling funding from our military, the United States will successfully force the Iranians to yield and concede to open the straits and end their nuclear weapons program, one way or another. Despite the media fawning over the brilliance of Iranian strategy, the Iranians will lose. Despite his political opponents rooting for U.S. strategy to fail, President Trump has bent the arc of history and dealt a homicidal regime a blow it will take decades to recover. The American people have not supported this war, and high gas prices will harm Republican chances in November. But the prospects of a deal on America's terms should result in us doing a lot better than most people think. I'm Ben Strusand, and that's my view.
Political contributor Ben Strusand. Only on AM 700 KSEV.
Hi, this is Paul Betancourt. Property values may have peaked, making 2026 a must-year to protest your property taxes. Sign up with my excellent Betancourt tax advisor team at btanow.com, as our experienced senior property tax agents and customer service matter. The Taxman says do it now.
Sign up with Betancourt Tax Advisors by going online to btanow.com or by calling Paul's professional property team at 713-263-6100.
Launch control, this is Houston. We are go for launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's ChrisXradio. ChrisXradio.
What we need right now is a clear message to the people of this country. This message must be read in every newspaper, heard on every radio, seen on every television. This message must resound throughout the entire interlink.
And now, your host.
I believe this is going to be our finest hour.
Chris X.
Good evening and welcome to the second hour of Chris X Radio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us on your Friday show on Thursday. That means we'll talk about whatever is on your mind today. 281-558-KSEV is the number if you want to join us. 281-558-5738. All right, so a couple of things. I'm going to lay out a few things and then go back to the phones because we were talking with Dr. Chris, and we hadn't even got to what he wanted to actually talk about today. So we'll go right back to the phones. Trump has ordered the Navy to shoot small boats dropping mines in the Strait of Hormuz. He said the big Navy is all at the bottom of the ocean, all 159 of their ships. I didn't know they had that many. Anyway, they've got these small boats that are running around, apparently, the Strait of Hormuz and causing issues. And it looks like the Trumpster is going to take care of that. Maybe he was listening to my show yesterday. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe he was. Anyway, the Senate has adopted a budget resolution early this morning after a 6-hour voting session allowing Republicans to use a partisan reconciliation bill to fund ICE and Border Patrol. This is what people talked about before, and politics being the emotional roller coaster that they are these days, people were just freaking out. I'm freaking out. Well, anyway, so that happened. Then everybody's very upset with John Thune because he's not bringing, he hasn't, as of yet, I guess, gone back with the Save America Act, one of President Trump's priorities. A Virginia judge, and this is what we'll talk with Dr. Chris about, or at least one of the things he mentioned. A Virginia judge ruled blocking Virginia from moving forward with certifying the results of the special election that just took place regarding a redistricting referendum that could possibly allow Democrats to gain 4 congressional seats. In the ruling, the Tazewell Circuit Court Judge Jack Hurtley issued on Wednesday explained the process underlying the referendum broke several state laws that certifying the vote would harm Republican lawmakers in the state. This was reported by WTVR News. So the court has issued the following. Well, this is from a reporter for ABC 8 News. Declare that any and all votes for or against the proposed constitutional amendment for the April 21st, 2026 special election are ineffective. Enjoins defendants and their successors from certifying the results of the special election. And the ruling by the court comes after the redistricting referendum passed with, 51.5% to 48.5%. That would give the Democrats a 10-to-1 advantage on representation in the state. So they're split right down the middle, as close as you can possibly get, yet we're stripping Republicans from all representation. And as Donald Trump pointed out on True Social, it was funny because it was a no all day long until Well, at the last minute, those mail-in ballots come in, and there you go. So we can get into that. And Houston City Council approved that revised immigration policy yesterday. We talked about that. But apparently today, Governor Greg Abbott says the city is still at risk for losing more than $100 million in public safety grants. So until it is in compliance and an agreement by Houston Police Department, they're still not in the clear with Governor Abbott. So we can get into any and all of that. If you want to join us, it is our Friday show on Thursday. We'll talk about whatever is on your mind. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Let's go back to the phones, pick back up with Dr. Chris, who was kind enough to hold through the break. Dr. Chris, thanks for hanging on. We were having a little fun talking about Carrie's mom in Virginia, but I imagine you wanted to talk about something else.
She is. She's the governor there. If you watch the movie, and you'll see it.
I need to look it up. You know what's funny is I don't remember who actually played her mom in the movie. I know it was
Piper Laurie.
Oh, it was Piper Laurie because it was Sissy Spacek that played the original Carrie. So, and that movie has been redone, I think, about 5, 6, 7, 8 times. I don't even know.
All of them awful.
Yeah,
I've seen all the remakes. They're all awful.
Oh,
horrible,
man, that's terrible.
Horrible. You know, there's another horror movie that spawned a trilogy. This is the 50th anniversary of that movie as well.
I'm trying to think. 50th anniversary, and it spawned a trilogy.
Yes.
That would be 1976.
76, yes.
I don't know. Which movie is it?
The Omen.
Oh, The Omen. You're right.
The Omen. Yes.
Well, it's tricky
Gregory
now because...
Peck and Lee Remick.
Oh, that movie terrified me as a kid. I was a kid when that came out and saw it. But
you know what? I love the cinematography in that movie.
Oh God!
Remember the part where the kid rode the tricycle and she fell and lost her other baby, like the priest had predicted. Man, that movie. The movie. See, remember I told you before that's when movies were suspense rather than gore and horror and slashing people to death. That movie was more suspense than it was horror. And even the part where the housekeeper came and threw her out of the that's that movie that part breaks my heart every time I see it, because she knows that the kid was trying to kill her, and then the Mrs. Baylock comes along and throws her head first out of the window into the ambulance. Remember that scene?
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. And once again, that movie is done so well. And that was back when the movies were made. There's a good script. There's good writing. There's a fantastic acting. You mentioned Gregory Peck and the kid who played Damien. Man, I think that kid was typecast for years, even just for playing the part. But they're so believable in those characters that it was just a very different world that we lived in back then. And you mentioned it spawned, a trilogy. There's actually been a bunch of other movies made around it, but they don't really count. They're all cheaper knockoffs. So, but man,
because you remember,
you're right on.
Remember there was two with I forget the actor's name who played the brother, and then the Damien grew up and he took over. Then there was a third one which was horrible. It was anti-Christian and all of that, and it had Jesus succumbing to the devil, and I was like, what the hell is this? That was the third one where he became president. I was like, and then there was one where he died at the end of the third one of the trilogy, and then there was another one they made where somehow or another he had a daughter, and I was like, well, it was 4, and it was really weird, and I was like, why? You watch that, you go, why? What was the point?
To further your point, I remember everything about the first one. I don't remember anything about part 2 or part 3 because they were very forgettable movies, and anything after that has just been, not any good. But that first one, boy, that was a different era, man. Those were good movies.
And let me say this, because I said this to you before you went into your break. I love. I'm going to say I love it, but I thank God for the fact that the Democrats have finally revealed who they are, and I tell people, if for no other reason, just to beat them like a drum, you need to vote. and not for them, but you vote against them. Vote your values, vote your principles, because these guys, do you hear what they're saying that they want to do once they get back into power? We want to impeach Trump. We want to send his family to jail. We want to try him for this. We want to try him for that, because he's anti-American. He got us into. He said that he was going to get us into more foreign wars, and he's undone everything we've done. What are you talking about? When he ran, he told you that he was going to unburden you from everything that had been. That's the 4 years that you had with the non-African American, whatever she was, vice president, and now you want us to go back to that? Really?
Yeah. Well, it's just it's communism on display is what it is, and these people are fascist Marxists, and that's exactly what they want to do. They tried to prosecute him before to keep him from running again and getting elected, and then he got elected, so now they want to wait and prosecute him again while accusing him of using lawfare against his opponents. That's the great, little trick that they try to do. So, no, you're absolutely right. That's why it is a no-brainer when it comes to elections and who I'm voting for. I'm voting against the Democrats every single time. And the very worst Republicans that I know of are still at least at a minimum 50% better than any Democrat. So I'm right there with you.
Let me ask you one more question, and then I'll run.
Okay.
You know that it's the 50th anniversary of one of the best guy TV shows of all time. You know what it is?
Let's see, the best guy TV shows?
Yeah, guys love to watch that one. Still today. It's on Amazon.
And it's the 50th anniversary of that one, too, so that'd be 1976.
Yes, it is.
I don't know. Is it The Odd Couple or...
No. I said guys like to watch it.
Oh, guys like to watch. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's Charlie's Angels.
Oh, wow. Well, no, hold on. Guys loved to watch that show, Chris.
See, now look at you agree with me. See that?
Yeah.
And I saw them being interviewed on one of the CBS morning shows or whatever it was, and Cheryl Ladd is still very nice looking for her age. And the person that was interviewing them was telling them saying how much they liked how they bonded together in the first season. And, she was really nice, but she said, I wasn't in the first season.
That's right. She came along later. That's funny. Yeah, I guess they just got to bypass Farrah Fawcett.
And then Jacqueline Smith chimed in and said, no, it was Farrah Fawcett that was in the first season. Yep. And then the interviewer sits there, and then she has to immediately say, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm still just a very big fan of the show. I just am. And I was like, okay, how are you a fan of something and you don't even know what it is?
They don't even know what they're talking about.
But it's on Amazon. It is. And Amazon, the thing I love about Amazon is it reminds me of when television was UHF and VHF.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that's... Like I said, I love thank you for the call, Dr. Chris. And really, like I said, I know that you have a penchant for some of the old television shows and the old movies like I do. And I like them. Like I said, I occasionally want to see some new stuff. So that's why I'm trying to find something new. It just doesn't compare. And I'm glad you mentioned that because I'd actually saw a little clip in the Charlie's Angels, and they're definitely older. We know Farrah Fawcett passed away a while back. So she was on. It's so weird because as a kid, I was a kid growing up. I was a kid of the 70s and the 80s. So it's weird because I didn't realize that Farrah Fawcett only did one season of Charlie's Angels. I thought she was there for a long time, and I heard she was only in the first season. I'm like, wow. Because that show was a big hit, and it carried on for more seasons. They brought in, as you mentioned, some of the others, and the Jacqueline Smith was absolutely gorgeous. I remember Kate... Oh, I can't think of her last name. She was on there. She was great. She's still around. She looks kind of weird now, thinking probably too much plastic surgery. But you mentioned Cheryl Ladd, who still looks good. She still looks. It's amazing. I saw this blew me away, and probably maybe wouldn't blow you away as much, Dr. Chris. But I saw there was a post of I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara Eden, who's in her 90s. Now, I'm sure, like I said, the post was probably, they cleaned it up, I'm sure, made her look good. She looked fantastic in the picture. And I'm like, she can't look that good in her 90s. Which I've seen her, she looks older, clearly looks older. But to think that I Dream of Jeannie and the star of that show, which was a very young, beautiful woman, Barbara, Eden, and you just go, what? She's in her 90s? I realize I'm getting old. I do realize that. Now, every now and then I see it. Of course, we lost Larry Hagman a while back, and you look at these shows and how different they are. They, as you mentioned, the old movies didn't focus just on gore. They actually had to have a script and had to have writing and good acting and that kind of stuff. And then that sort of, it still happens every now and then. I got to admit, I enjoyed the movie Weapons. I went and saw that at the theater. That's one of the few movies I went and saw at the theater. And that was an interesting script. And it had some gory parts in it, of course. But overall, that was an interesting movie. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a break. It is our Friday show on Thursday. Thanks for the call, Dr. Chris. I always enjoy reminiscing with you because, like I said, I think you were a little older back then. You remember this stuff better than I do. But I know that you actually enjoy some of that stuff more than I do. You still go and watch them, and it's sad that we have to do that in order to find quality programming because you're not getting it on any of the channels these days. The ABC, CBS, NBC, they're all worthless. I don't watch their news anymore. I used to watch their news all the time. I used to love the nightly news. The network and the local, they're all trash now. It is so hard to find a quality news program because they don't exist anymore. Or to find a quality sitcom series. None of it's funny anymore. All right, 281-558-KSEV. It is our Friday show on Thursday. What is on your mind? 281-558-5738. We'll be right back.
Call ChrisXradio now. 281-558-KSEV. 281-558-KSEV. Connect with the Chris Salcedo Show.
Where'd you get that dollar from? I'm sorry, what did you say, sir? I'm sorry, what did you say, sir? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear what you said. What do you think you do? Why you so sad? It's a nicer place. Shut up in your face. Shut up.
Start your mornings with the Chris Salcedo Show, 7 to 9 a.m.
Dan Patrick for my friend Louis Flory and Ability Tree Experts.
Spring is here and summer just around the corner, which means it's time to deep root fertilize your trees in addition to spraying for insects and disease. Let Ability Trees help maintain their value and repair all damage. Fed and pruned tree will be less susceptible to wind damage and uprooting. Caring for the beautiful and valuable trees on your property that you can't replace should be done by experts. And the experts I use, it's very clear. It's Ability Tree Experts and Louis Flory, my friend for over 40 years. Gosh, this guy is the pro when it comes to taking care of trees. Pruning is important for the health of your trees, and pruning limits resistance to spring storms and allows the sun and fresh air into the canopy. Trees can be in distress several months without showing any signs, so don't wait to protect your investment at 281-441-4179, 281-441-4179, or visit their website at abilitytrees.com. Right now, Ability Trees is giving a deep root feeding with every tree pruned. Ability Trees, Houston's leading tree care professional.
Plumbing emergencies never happen at a convenient time. Nix Plumbing offers free estimates and free second opinions. Call Nix Plumbing and Sewer Services, 713-868-9907, or visit us on the web, nixplumbing.com.
MPL 38548.
Jim Clark, a.k.a. Check-A-Pro Joe here. Houston's best contractors. Houston's smartest homeowners. It all starts with the Check-A-Pro radio show. Now hear my show every Saturday at 7 a.m. right here on AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas.
Are you looking to retire or retire right? Tune in to Retire Right Radio, powered by RobertsWealth.com. We take pride in educating soon-to-be and current retirees by focusing on what matters most to them. Your financial future is about more than just money. Find out how we can help you retire right. Saturday mornings at 8 on AM 700 KSEV, the voice of Texas. Or search and subscribe to Retire Right Radio on your favorite podcast platform.
Hey y'all, Craig Collins here. Please check out my brand new show from 6 to 7 o'clock Monday through Friday right here on The Voice of Texas. And also please check out our relatively new social media pages. That's at KSEV Radio on YouTube and Rumble. We are live streaming more and more of our content there every day. And finally, check out my social media pages at Radio Craig C on X and Facebook. That's The Craig Collins Show Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 o'clock and wherever you get your podcasts on KSEV KGBC, The Voice of Texas.
And now, back to ChrisXradio on the Voice of Texas.
Welcome back to ChrisXradio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us on our Friday show on Thursday. Man, it's already flying by. We're almost halfway through the second hour. If you want to join us, we'll talk about whatever is on your mind today. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Let's go ahead and go right back to the phones. Pick up with Michael, who's been patiently holding in Beaumont. Michael, thanks for hanging on. Welcome to ChrisXradio.
Have you ever heard of Donna Douglas?
Donna Douglas, was she Ellie Mae?
That's her.
Oh yeah, she was something back then. That was the Beverly Hillbillies.
She's from Southeast Texas.
I did not know that. Wow.
And I think she's prettier than all the ones you were talking about. And just because she could beat up Jethro.
So she was pretty and tough, and we used to watch that show just for the times where Ellie Mae would go swimming in the cement pond. We enjoyed that part.
Oh God, I'm telling you. But they were pretty conservative about what they showed.
Yeah, it was a very different world back then for sure, and they kept it very wholesome. But like I said, I remember her. She was, man,
but
she was
I think
gorgeous.
She's from like Orange, Texas, or
I don't know,
around Beaumont somewhere.
I would have to look that up. There's no telling when you, like I said, the other thing too is I'm not surprised because the reality is that Texas has so many beautiful women. And what's funny is I've heard people talk about, these other, women from other states, which is, okay, that's fine or whatever. And they're good. There's beautiful women everywhere. But hold on. While I was talking, I was pulling this up. Let's look and see her biography. Where was she from? Oh, man. Oh, she passed away back in 2015. I did not know that. So she was truly a Southern belle. She grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Let's see. She appeared in some other shows, Twilight Zone, Eye of the Beholder, and then Beverly Hills, the Beverly Hillbillies, as Ellie Mae Clampett. She was, there was a lot of young men dreaming about Ellie Mae. So
yeah,
you
me
weren't
too.
I was going to say, apparently you were one of them. Yeah, but no, she was, you go look at the picture, she was absolutely a knockout. And I'm sure that's why they picked her. But yeah, you're right. She could handle Jethro, and that's tough. That's a tough gig right there. He was all kinds of trouble. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Michael. Yeah, that's funny. It's Ellie Mae. And what's funny, the quote I did, it's from the movie. What was the name of the movie? That Thing That You Do. I really enjoyed that movie. It's about one hit wonder, and they call themselves the one hit wonders. And there was like they kept getting called the Oneaters, but at one point they were talking about again Steve Zahn, who's a hilarious actor. So something about, hey, yeah, we got to meet the Beverly Hillbillies. Says, yeah, we talked about Ellie Mae going swimming in the cement pond. That is so funny. But just for a quick refresher, once again, that is one of those series that started out in black and white and then went into color because color television came about at that point. Ellie Mae Clampett, Donna Douglas, was born September 26th, 1932. She was 4 years older than my dad. That's crazy. You start looking at that. So she didn't do a whole ton of stuff. She did a lot. Said she was a tomboy as a kid. Had a second career as a gospel singer. Was a popular real estate agent in Beverly Hills. Wonder how many people just want, I'd like to go look at a property. Yeah, can Ellie Mae show it to me? That's funny. But yeah, like I said, she's pretty gorgeous, but man, I don't know. It's hard to top Barbara Eden. And I'm not even into blondes at all. I like brunettes generally. But Barbara Eden, it was one of the most, I guess, naturally beautiful women I've ever seen. My God, she was so amazing. And what's funny in the series, I Dream of Jeannie, at a certain point she got pregnant very early on. And they had to kind of do the thing where they covered it up with the genie bottle, or she was always standing behind a vase, or whatever, behind a table, and just kind of kind of hid it from the viewers. I guess they had a shorter run with the amount of episodes, and then she had the kid and got back in perfect shape. Looked amazing. But she was gorgeous. In fact, you go look back at a lot of these ladies. There are some that are still around. Some of these really old actresses that aren't exactly what I consider to be, gorgeous now, clearly. But you look at them back then, early on, and they were gorgeous. And that's, man, it just it was a different world, man. It really was. Totally different world. All right, thanks for the call. Appreciate it, Michael. It is, there you go. This show has become the hot chicks from the old series that we used to watch as kids. Because I watched the Beverly Hillbillies. I imagine it was probably 100% in syndication by the time I started watching it. All right, let's take a break. 281-558-KSEV, 281-558-5738. Oh, there you go, little Uncle Ted. It was funny because I remember listening to Uncle Ted back in the late 70s when I was a kid, like 10 years old. And then fast forward 25 years, and I'm interviewing Uncle Ted on the radio. I've interviewed him a couple of times. But like, man, I was digging Uncle Ted's music back when I was a little kid. Of course, I've been a rocker since I was a little kid. That hasn't really changed much. All right, 281-558-KSEV. It is our Friday show on Thursday. We'll be right back.
ChrisXradio.
After a hard rain, you can see them. The water stains on the ceiling or the dripping water from a recessed light. Now you start to get nervous because leaks can cause big problems.
Once the water enters the structure, the trouble starts. Water weakens rafters and beams over time. It soaks through drywall and damages the insulation in your home.
And Roland, don't forget about mold. It grows fast in our humidity and causes all kinds of health problems.
I'd really hate to see you spend thousands on expensive structural or drywall repairs or mold removal projects, especially when we can fix those leaks quickly at Tejas Roofing.
And most of our leak repairs are under $500. This is Deb and Roland Tejada from Tejas Roofing, your Houston roofing company. Call us when you first see that leak, 281-251-0304. See our work online at TejasRoofingandContracting.com. Tejas Roofing, 281-251-0304.
From the KSEV Weather Center, tonight will be cloudy with a low of 71. Tomorrow, expect intervals of clouds and sunshine with a chance of a thunderstorm in some areas and a high of 86. Tomorrow night will be overcast, warm and humid with a low of 72. Moving on to Saturday, it'll be warm with temperatures nearing the record high of 90 last seen in 2006. Anticipate a mix of sun and clouds with a high of 88. With the KSCB Weather Center forecast, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Jason Caterina.
There's always more to love at Specs Wine, Spirits, and Finer Foods. More variety, more value, more good vibes. At Specs, you'll find the biggest selection in Texas, from rare finds to frequently loved favorites, all at the lowest prices. Being Texas family owned means we know every celebration should start with great flavor and good company. We've got the Lone Star Spirit, aisles of it in fact. Shop Specs! The fun starts here.
Is it time to sell your house? Well, then hire a real estate team that will sell your house quickly and for top dollar. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group. The team concept starts with experience, a drive and passion from Ronnie and Kathy Matthews, the founders. They built their team with specialists from every aspect of the real estate transaction, from the buyer's agent to the contract administrator to the marketing specialist. This team is working full-time to get your home sold and every detail handled professionally. Call Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or on the web visit thematthewsteam.com. Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, your realtor for life. Call now for a free home evaluation, 281-440-7900. That's 281-440-7900. Or see for yourself and go online at thematthewsteam.com. I chose them as my realtor, and you'll be happy if you do as well. That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group at 281-440-7900 or thematthewsteam.com.
That's the Ronnie and Kathy Matthews Group, brokered by EXP.
And now, we return you to your regularly scheduled dose of common sense. ChrisXradio. ChrisXradio.
still love the mother. Tell your children that you're voting for Trump. You're voting for Trump. Your mother's voting for Trump, okay?
Your mother's voting for Trump. She's voting for Trump.
It's so good. It's, like I said, we need to appreciate these times. I know it's volatile and crazy, but the reality is we're now, like I said, we're at the tail end of the Trumpocalypse. We got, maybe 3 more years, and then that's it. He's not going to run for office anymore. That'll be it. He's done. He's out. He's over. He's gone. We shall see who will go to moving into his filling those shoes. And it's going to be hard to fill those shoes, to say the least. To say the least, it's going to be very difficult to fill those shoes because other politicians are very different than Donald Trump. He doesn't play by the same rules that all of the other politicians play by because he doesn't have to. He's a billionaire. He didn't need this job. I guess in many ways, he had to run. 1, he wanted to run, but 2, finish what he wanted to do. But 3, try to keep his enemies. It's so amazing watching that his enemies are in the Democrat Party, some in the Republican Party. These people hate him so much they want to put him in jail. For what crime? I don't know. They just create crimes. Anyway, welcome back to ChrisXradio. I'm the aforementioned X-Man. Glad to have you here with us. Whatever is on your mind today, that's what we'll talk about. It is our Friday show on Thursday. If you want to join us, 281-558-KSEV. 281-558-5738. We'll take your calls about anything because we do our Friday show today. The Amigos take over tomorrow. They're going to have a lot to cover, as they do every Friday. As the senator likes to say, I'm just here plowing the road for them on Fridays. Plow the road, get here, and get through Thursday, and then boom. So I've always, manipulated the time-space continuum to enable us to do our Friday show on Thursday. Nobody else does this. I don't know if anybody else can. I don't think they can. We're the only ones that can. Somehow we've done that. Maybe we also discovered the anti-gravity. I need to be careful with all of the scientists that disappeared, and another scientist just came out, supposedly committed suicide, that claimed he was not suicidal at all. So, man, you got to be careful with all this. That was my Chris X Files from earlier in the week. There have been at least 11, now there's at least 12, of scientists, people involved, researchers that were involved with high top-level clearance that have either been committed suicide, died, or have disappeared. The disappearances are really weird. There was the one lady who, she was very accomplished. She did, speaking engagements, and she was doing, like I said, apparently was hiking and was like 30 feet behind a guy. And then at one point he turned around and she was gone, and there was nothing left but a shoe. And they brought in helicopters and brought in the dogs, and nobody could find anything. They said there wasn't really much of a chance of her falling off a cliff or whatever. They don't have no idea what happened to her. And there are multiple scientists that have just disappeared. There's a couple that just went out for a walk and never came back. Which, like I said, some people want to take the supernatural route. I take more of what about our adversaries? Their adversaries are different than Trump's. Their adversaries are like China, maybe Russia, maybe some of these other countries. It's very, very strange. Anyway, so that, but then this other guy he was a UFO dude who also, once again, they're releasing his text messages. Supposedly he committed suicide. His text messages said, listen, I'm not suicidal. I did not commit suicide. If something comes out, I didn't do it. Same with one of the female scientists researchers. It's just bizarre. The whole UFO thing, how it went from, which now we've learned there's been a government disinformation program for many, many years to make anyone who talks about it seem like a crazy person. So there's that. But it's gotten so weird because now it's UAP and people are saying interdimensional and There's, high definition video of these crafts that are doing things that are astronomically impossible. Turns out maybe they're not. They're just using a propulsion system that we're not familiar with. Or, as one of the scientists said, maybe they've developed anti-gravity. If you control gravity, you can control a lot of things. So it's very bizarre. Anyhow, there we go. So I went off on a Chris X-Files tangent here on the program. Anyway, it is our Friday show on Thursday, 281-558-KSEV if you want to join us. Okay, so so Trump, yesterday we talked about these. In fact, one of the callers called in and asked a question about Iran, confronting these ships trying to traverse the Strait of Hormuz. And they apparently fired upon 3 ships, was it a couple of days ago? And then these little tiny boats that the Iranian, the IRGC uses, went and boarded at least one of the boats, maybe all 3, and then brought them into Iranian waters. And I said, if yesterday on the program, if we're controlling the Strait of Hormuz, why is this happening? Well, clearly there was something we weren't controlling about it. And I said, if I was Donald Trump, those little boats wouldn't exist if they were anywhere near. Well, Trump apparently, I don't think he was listening to the program. I really don't. He might have been. You never know. Trump consumes a lot of media. Maybe he was watching our program because we now stream the video live on Rumble and YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. I'm sorry, X. I still call it Twitter. Twitter, X, whatever. We're not streaming it on True Social yet. I guess maybe one day we can. I know I created a True Social account, and I never go on True Social. But Trump releases his statements there. And I was wondering, was he listening to the show yesterday? Because then he instructed the U.S. Navy to shoot all of these small boats, any of them dropping mines in the Strait of Hormuz. So he announced on True Social, I have ordered the U.S. Navy to shoot and kill any boat. Which is Trump speaking in hyperbole, which is hilarious. Shoot and kill any boat? I guess if you shoot a boat and it sinks, you killed it. Small boats, they may be. Their naval ships are are all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea. First of all, I had no idea that Iran had 159 ships. That is crazy. Shouldn't be as completely shocking, I guess, considering they had big oil money. But he said all 159 of them at the bottom of the sea, that is putting mines in the waters in the Strait of Hormuz. There is to be no hesitation. Additionally, our minesweepers are clearing the strait now. I am hereby ordering that activity to continue, but at a tripled up level. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I love how Trump always finishes his True Social post with, thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, his order just came a few days after he announced the extension of the ceasefire with Iran on Tuesday, after Vice President J.D. Vance and his envoy and their planned trip to Islamabad was for peace talks didn't work out. It didn't happen. The original 2-week ceasefire deadline is approaching. I think we may be there now, but he extended it. And like I said, yesterday on the show, I was like, man, I'm sorry, but I would absolutely destroy any of Iran's ships, boats, whatever, anything near the Strait of Hormuz. I would take them out, especially if they're going and dropping mines, which obviously Trump is too. But I would not allow them to be accosting any ships going through there. And if you want to control the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to control the Strait of Hormuz, which is pretty interesting. The other thing that we're seeing, because of this, the backlog and some of the things that happened, ships are starting to find alternate ways. In other words, they're going around. They're not taking the Strait of Hormuz. They're now coming to the U.S., coming to Texas and New Orleans, or I'm sorry, I just assumed New Orleans, going to Louisiana and getting oil that way, buying it from the U.S. I look at this and I'm like, why haven't we been doing this forever? We're able to supply our own oil and our own gas. Why aren't we selling it on the international market? Well, I'm just saying, maybe there's more to Trump's strategy than people previously thought. Everybody wants to just think Trump is this crazy orange guy who tweets insanity, because he does. He goes on and crap tweets the other people and just hammers them. But there's a method to his madness. And it's apparently a very effective method to his madness, because he has done so much more than virtually any president of my lifetime, probably more than just about any president we've ever had. He is not constrained by things that constrain most politicians. In fact, things that would bring down traditional politicians have actually become just a bit of a blip when it comes to Donald Trump. Which, by the way, speaking of a blip, more like a blimp, I don't know if you guys have seen Stormy Daniels lately. I remember what she looked like back when the scandal broke or whatever, and they were showing she was an old porn star or whatever. And anyway, that was the big deal, and they had to go, no, oh, my God, they're going to bring Trump down. Well, he did. Stormy Daniels looks straight out the trailer park these days. She does not look like she did when she was acting in films. We'll just say that. I don't know if she ever did any legit films. I think it was all in the adult industry. But time does not look like it's been kind to Stormy Daniels. Or whatever. What was her real name? Was it Melissa something? I don't remember. No, Stephanie. Stephanie Clifford's, I do believe. How did I remember that? I'm not a big fan of Stormy Daniels, but my God, seeing the pictures now, I can't believe they're real. But anyway, I guess, like I said, I imagine most people who pursue careers within that industry probably don't take real good care of themselves. Maybe they may look a certain way or something, but as they don't tend to age well, I'll just say that from what we've seen. At one point in time, I remember reading an article, this is a few years back, one of the porn star guys, he was one of the big dudes, it was in the 70s and 80s, was working at the meat market in, was it a Randall's or a Kroger or an H-E-B over in the Woodlands. I don't know if he still is. I don't remember the guy's name, but that was happening up there. So one of the guys, he had gotten out of the adult film industry and then was working, he was a butcher. So he was working as a butcher in the meat market in one of the, I can't even remember, was it an H-E-B or a Kroger or who knows? But I was like, what? In the Woodlands? I thought about going up just to go in and see who the guy was, and but I didn't. I didn't really care that much. But apparently he was, I don't know if he's still there. Should probably look that up. In fact, I may do that. Let's go and take a break. Maybe I'll look that story up as we wrap up today's show. All right, if you want to join us for the final segment of Chris X Radio on our Friday show on Thursday, that's why we wrap things up at 6 p.m., turn it over to the Craig Collins program. Yeah, let's see the Craig Collins program talk about porn stars working in the Woodlands in the meat market. I would be highly shocked if he covers that issue today, but then again, he just might. Maybe just to spite me, you never know. All right, 281-558-KSEV if you want to get in before we run out of time. 281-558-5738. We'll be right back to wrap up today's show.
You're listening to Chris X Radio on the Voice of Texas.
Do you need money? Want to lower your monthly debt? Are you thinking about a cash-out refinance? Hi, it's Kathy from Baker Mortgage. A cash-out refinance can get you back in your comfort zone, and that's what it's all about. A recent client who closed with us had his payment go up about $300, but his monthly outgo was being reduced by $1,200, so giving him a net positive cash flow of $900. It's not about adding debt, but restructuring it in a way that makes sense, and this math totally makes sense. And please don't sweat it if your interest rate is going up a little or if you're extending the term. I can show you by taking a small amount of what you're saving monthly and applying it towards your mortgage, you're going to pay it off just as quickly and you'll be way ahead in the money game, which is where we all want to be, right? Remember, we want to help you, but we're not going to help you over a cliff. Baker Mortgage, 281-313-MOVE, or go directly to bakermortgage.com.
Equal housing lender. License number 263213.
Does your company have a cybersecurity rider? Are you compliant with its terms? If you are not sure, call Tactical Cyber Services for a free consultation. 713-229-0030 or go online at tacticalcyberservices.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
I started my first business at 12 years old, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I thought I was crushing it until my buddy down the street undercut me by $2. But he didn't just cut the price. He cut corners too. That's when I learned if you do the job right, people trust you, and integrity beats profit. People care more about how you show up and whether you do what you say you're gonna do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Garage Door Doctor. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we crush it, and we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and the spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. Because when you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. From repairs to upgrades, call Garage Door Doctor today or schedule online at garagedoordoctor.biz. And yeah, we still beat the other guy.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more than the doctor. Garage Door Doctor.
This is Kevin O'Hara with O'Hara & Company Real Estate in O'Hara Homes. Davy Crockett addressed the Tennessee Congress after losing his bid for a seat. You may all go to hell, I'm going to Texas. Apparently a lot of other people from other states are feeling the same way lately. We have people coming to Texas from every state in the union. I think they are looking for a state with more conservative views. The word Texas comes from the Caddo Native American language, which means friends or allies. Texans are some of the friendliest people on the planet. If you're moving from another state, Texans will treat you well. If you're fleeing from a liberal state, leave those views there. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate, give O'Hara & Company Real Estate a call at 281-373-3393. Again, that's 281-373-3393, or look us up on the web at o'harare.com. If you need any type of construction work done, call O'Hara Homes at the same number, 281-373-3393. Davy Crockett ended up being an historical figure in Texas history and embodied the Texas spirit. God bless America and God bless Texas.
And now, back to Chris X Radio. Chris X Radio on the voice of Texas.
You've reached the final segment of our Friday show on Thursday, where we'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about or whatever I want to talk about. And boy, I brought up a topic that's pretty interesting, so I'm going to finish that off here in just a second. Once again, we're wrapping up the program. This is our Friday show on Thursday. The Amigos take over, and they'll be on tomorrow from 4 to 6, as they do every Friday. So make sure you tune into the Amigos. That would be El Senador, Paul Betancourt, along with the Judge, and a Strew with a View. Mr. Strusan, bat and cleanup. I don't think Mr. Strusan has ever worked in a meat market at an H-E-B in the Woodlands. I don't think he has. I think he's been far more lucrative with his career, to say the least. Anyway, by the way, we'll wrap up here at 6 and then stick around. The Craig Collins program airs immediately following this one, so make a point to tune in. I think, I'm just going out on a limb, but I imagine he probably will not be broaching this subject on his program tonight. I mentioned that a porn star had worked in the Woodlands, and I went and found the article. It was from the Daily Mail. It was back in 2020. I don't know if he's still there. So if you guys, maybe he's still there. Anyway, the guy's name he was a male porn star, Randy Spears. Apparently, he had been working there since 2019, and it was in 2020. He had been working at the store seafood counter, and reveals that he didn't regret swapping sex for salmon. So retired porn star Randy Spears, at least back in 2020, was working at the seafood counter inside the H-E-B Woodlands Market in the Woodlands, Texas, the Daily Mail revealed. The 58-year-old, wow, he was 58 back then, was working at the market since January of 2019. They said he typically makes around, the fish counters at the H-E-B stores make around $25,000 a year, which is a far cry from the $1,000 a day he charged at the height of his fame. Wow, dudes in porn got paid $1,000 a day? I bet Craig Collins is rethinking his career right now. Still, Spears exclusively told Daily Mail, I'm rethinking mine, told the Daily Mail that he would never go back to porn. He started more than, it looks like they did a typo here. It's 1,2000, which means either 1,200 and they screwed up the comma or 12,000 porn films. I'm going to go with probably 1,200. I don't know. Maybe the dude was busy. Anyway, and after he said he hit the porn scene in the 80s after struggling to survive a Hollywood writer's strike. Said he had fun, no doubt about it, but he partied a lot and he showed up at the swankiest clubs and then let you right in. And he said, anyway, finding work post-porn career initially proved tough, because of his notoriety, but he said he enjoys his job and that his family is proud of him. So he was. I don't know if he's still there. They said they have a picture of him working there. His real name was, wait a minute. This story just keeps getting funnier. His real name is Gregory Duschle, Deushle. I don't know how to pronounce that. So, but he was working, handling salmon since January of 2019. He worked as a 2-year stint at the store between 2014 and 2016. I guess he lived here in Houston, I guess. But they generally make about $25,000 a year. Maybe different. Said he'd never go back to doing porn again. I wonder if he still works there. But that's... Anyway, the story is from 2020. So if for some reason you guys go into H-E-B in the Woodlands, at the Woodlands Market in the Woodlands, Texas, and I guess if you go in, you can go meet this guy or whatever. I don't know. I hope he washed his hands before he went to work. I'm just thinking it might be a good idea. And he's handling fish. There's just so many jokes you could make about it. Did he marry a porn star? I don't know. It says his wife and family's proud of him. But he said there isn't a day that it goes by that he doesn't think about if he'd just stuck it out in Hollywood, what if? I guess he may have said could have been the next Rock Hudson. So he never thought he was going to. So times have changed, but it was the kiss of death. You're not going to be in a movie with Tom Cruise. Too much liability. So he was raised a devout Catholic, it said. Okay. So he changed his life, went back. I wonder if he's still working there. Said in 2013, 2 years before retiring. "26, who's the man? Is that one of his kids? Works in a veterinary clinic. Well, his son Greg, okay, had just graduated from college and plans to be an engineer. I guess they put their kids through college. So, said he considered voiceover roles. I don't know, did he use his voice in that? I don't know. Now I'm thinking about taking a road trip to the Woodlands. I don't think I want any fish from there. I don't buy a lot of fish at the grocery store. I don't cook and eat a lot of fish at home. If I eat fish, I go out and eat seafood. So, but you know what? Hey, the guy, like I said, give him credit. He's working. Happy with his job, or was. I wonder if he's still there. I don't know. I wonder how many people went there just to see him. Probably a lot. Anyway, all right, we're done. We're out of time. We're done for the week.